And here we are with another Mecha Alliance figure review. What's up, everyone? It's Cole, aka Robots Are Art. And you know what? We're chilling today. It's a beautiful, sunny day, and what better way to spend it than doing a full review of this historic, first ever Super Sentai Mech Battle Fever Robo. We are going to take a look at all the gimmicks, all the weapons, everything that makes this guy a vintage classic. And guess what, guys? That's just the start of things, because this is going to kick off the Mecha Alliance Summer Super Robot Spectacular. That's right, here we see him with his sword fever, throwing knives, looking awesome. And this is going to kick things off. We are going to get into something you guys have talked about a lot in the comments, my vintage collection. A lot of you guys have seen it in the background of my reviews. Well, we're going to get into it today, including the Gordian first series and much, much more. There are going to be some surprises. There's going to be a lot of good stuff in this all killer, no filler video. So please give this video a like and subscribe, because if you're watching this, we know you are as passionate about mecha as we are. And right now, what we're gonna do is get into the articulation on this guy. It is simple and fun, but what you're gonna see, this guy is a hunk of metal. Popey Japan 1979. This guy has die cast in his legs, body, arms, pretty much everything but his fists, head, shoulder pads, and leg covers. This guy is a brick. He has simple articulation, but guess what, guys? He is loaded with fun gimmicks, and we're gonna look at all the gimmicks, starting with this. The leg covers fold out to reveal launching missiles. How cool is that? And of course, this guy has rocket punch. Beautiful. And check this out, the head blade launches. So cool. Be careful. And another cool thing, the chest launches out the pilots. I only have one. I believe there were 4. That's what they look like. A really, really incredible piece of toy making here. Now let's take a look at Battle Fever Robo's weapons, starting with the awesome chrome knuckles. So cool. And don't you love those chains hanging there? Absolutely, so many beautiful touches. The weapons fit in the removable holsters. Such a cool touch. And let's take a minute to talk about the history on this guy, because it's pretty fascinating. You know, we all know and love Japanese Spider-Man, and the mech that appeared, Leopardon, is so iconic. Well, Marvel and Toei, of course, were slated to do a second superhero mech team-up featuring Captain America. But the project was scrapped, so they used the mech in the third installment of the Super Sentai series, Battle Fever J. And the rest is history. The Super Sentai series had added a giant robot to its formula and struck absolute gold. It's a series that runs to this day, of course, with massive, massive fan base. And of course, the episodes are taken and made into the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers here in the United States. So we could say this guy's the forerunner to all the Megazords. We could stretch it and even say this guy could be the first Megazord. So it's something I absolutely had to have in my collection. And you know, a lot of people wonder, you know, why do I buy these vintage figures when you can get the Soul of Chogokin or the newer versions that are really cool? Here we see the Stick Lancer, shining, looking beautiful. Well, for me, it's about the history, and it's a lot about the thrill of the hunt. I'll tell you guys what, it took me 7 years to score this figure in mint condition. I saw one on Robot Japan forums years ago, 7 years ago, and it was $300, and I passed on it. I thought it was really cool, but I didn't quite know what it was, you know, and I missed it. I wish I could have gotten it, and it took 7 years to score another one. Here we see him with his lightning light sword and shield looking beautiful. I think this may be how I'll display him, but it's about the thrill of the hunt. It took 7 years to score this, and I'm so glad to have it. You know, it was $300 then. I paid $500 for this now. I'm not a bargain hunter when I see something I want. I really wanted this. I didn't haggle. Did I pay too much? Maybe I did. I don't know. It's history. What do you guys think? And here he is on display with the rest of my vintage super robots. How does he look? What do you guys think? Did I pay too much? I think he looks absolutely fantastic with the rest of my vintage super robots, and we're going to look at all of them, starting with these little ST standard Chogokin, going through the entire Godaiken First Series DX robots, and more. We're going to look at all of these guys and what promises to be a fun and educational ride through the golden age of super robots. And you know, we are going to look at some vintage Voltrons as well. We are going to look at all these guys. And I am a mint in box collector. These take me years to collect. So we're going to take a look at the history behind them. We are going to have a good time. We're going to look at the big ones. But we got a few more standard Chogokin to take a look at. Starting with this guy, the Popey GA52. Daiku Maru, white horned. First edition, of course, from the show Daiku Maru Gai King that aired in 1976. A lovingly made toy with plenty of gimmicks. You see the missiles there. He is die-cast in his chest and his head. The white horn signifying the first edition of this guy. And of course, emerging from the chest, we have Skylar, Basilor, and Nesser. Lovingly made. Beautiful little details. A wonderful standard ST Chogokin. And of course, the box art is fabulous on this guy. So much to love, and so much to love about this guy. The first ever black repaint. Of course, there's a history of these. This is the first edition Deluxe Super Metal Black Radine from Popey, 1977. This guy's also important because he's the first Transformer, but to me, this guy wanted a statement piece because Christmas of 1978, I was 4 years old, and one of my earliest memories is opening Shogun Warriors Radine. I can still see it now in my brown corduroy bell bottoms with my horizontally striped turtleneck. It was nearly as big as I was. It blew my mind. It changed my life. There's his weapons pack. This guy I don't mess with too much. I picked him up when prices really dipped during lockdown. He's a beautiful piece. So glad to have this. So many black and gold repaints. And this is the first ever. And another first ever. The SG-01 Tetsujin 28. The Chokinzoku #1. The only super robot ever made in this grand 16-inch scale. The first ever with removable armor. Let's take a look at that. You can see his inner workings, his detachable pressed steel armor, magnetic toys to hang out on the outside of him. This guy even has an elevator. Unbelievable. It's enough to land this guy in a display in the Louvre Museum, Paris, France. I'm so happy to have it. It was the only one ever made in this grand series, more grand than any DX. You know, the Go line was also almost made in this massive scale. We can dream about what could have been. You see, this guy is fashioned in the style of a knight. Aesthetically beautiful. For me, this is the Grail. So glad to have it. This guy has beautiful blue plastic. A lot of them have darkened with age. There you see Guy King up there for scale. We're not getting into the Shoguns. We're just doing vintage diecast. But this guy has nice blue plastic, beautiful chrome. So happy to have him in my collection. Now, we're going to get into some more Sentai mechs, starting with Goggle-V from the 1982 series, Dai Sentai Goggle-V. And this guy is just made of a lot of diecast. Diecast in the chest, diecast in the legs. Absolutely beautiful from all angles. You see the shining sword. Absolutely a wonderful, wonderful figure. And we're going to take a look at this guy in a little more detail. Look at all the wonderful things that came in this Godaiken package. Beautiful. Let's unveil the sword. And let's take a look at these guys. Beautiful missiles, beautiful weapons, beautiful art card. Let's take a look at the first piece, Goggle Jet. Beautifully crafted, shining, brilliant colors. You see the combination points, wonderfully made. I don't mess with these too much. I just get them and combine them so I can keep them looking nice and new. And here comes the Goggle Tank piece. Now this one is fragile. There's a lot of blue plastic on the back, which will break with repeated combinations. But look at that. The back is as beautiful as the front in this one. And the pieces of Goggle Dump. Amazing, so creative. A dump truck turning into a robot. I don't mess with this too much. I'm just going to combine it. But this is a beautiful piece. That's all, pretty much all that yellow you see there is die-cast. Lovely chrome. Those fold in if you want to turn it into the dump truck. Also, the back part lifts out, but I didn't mess with it. I wanted to keep it nice and new in my collection. Let's take a look at this beautiful detail. Gorgeous figure, beautiful bright colors. Absolutely fantastic. And the next Sentai figure we're going to get into is the first one I ever saw. Dynaman. I was a kid, and the USA Network would air this on Friday nights, late night, in their Night Flight series. And they had, it was the first American dub of a Sentai series. I'm going to include a link in the video so you guys can take a quick look at that. But that's my first exposure to Dynaman. And the shows were entertaining. They were mixed with rock and roll. Right now we're going to take a look at the carrier, the Dai Jupiter, and how Dynaman works. This is absolutely amazing. Turning him around and look at that. There's an elevator. Turn the elevator. And here comes Dynamok. And I love the shape of this. It looks awesome. I love anything with this aesthetic from the early 80s, but look at this. It's functional too. This is absolutely amazing. Check it out. Awesome. So cool. It functions as a ramp. Unbelievable. Here comes Dynamobile. Awesome. And the final piece coming out of the front is Gary, the car carrier. And this is really slick how this works. Just roll it out. Pull out the wheels. Flip the panels out. And we have an awesome car carrier for Dynaman. So cool. Something you guys may not know, Dynaman is a baseball-inspired mech. Let's look at this from all angles. Such a cool vehicle. Lots and lots of die cast, totally sturdy, amazing, fun to play with. See the details from the back. And now you'll notice some playwear on this one. This was actually my son's beloved toy. He got this for his 5th birthday. So you know, we love Dynaman around here. This is the first Godaiken I collected. We're absolute lifelong fans of Dynaman. Here we see my 4 Sentai Mech standing together. And we're going to take a look at one more Sentai Mech. Sun Vulcan. Absolutely beautiful. The chrome, the colors pop. A high point in Sentai Mech design. It's from the 1981 series, Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan. It was a direct sequel to Denji Man, and it is the last time Marvel would be involved in the series. The mech is absolutely beautiful, turns into a jet and a bulldozer of all things. So imaginative, so creative. Absolutely a beautiful figure. And here's what comes in the box. Awesome weapons. So cool. All the missiles, everything. And of course, the first ever combining DX toy robot, Combattler V. The first ever from 1976. This was also released as a Shogun Warrior. This is the Combatra final release of the Godaiken. It's all metal. Everything in this thing is metal. So if you combine it, it is going to chip. I got this thing brand new and combined it and never uncombined it. It looks pretty darn good, but when you combine these, there's what comes in the box. It's an amazing toy. One of the coolest collectibles I've ever opened, honestly. And here it is. Absolutely an historic figure. The first ever combiner. Amazing. And next, we're going to look at DX GodMars. This guy is an absolute brick. Of course, breaks down into 6 robots. You see the windows there, so we can see Gaia on the inside. Absolutely amazing. And this guy, when he came out, was just as expensive as Voltus 5, as Go Lion, as Combattler. This guy is a heavyweight. And let's take a look at his box. Here's how he came to me. We're going to take a look at this guy. Open him up, just like it's day one. The window box is beautiful. Super Robot System GodMars. Here we see the artwork coming out. Amazing. All the weapons. Everything that comes with a DX set like this by Godaiken in the early 80s. And let's take a look at the individual robots. Here's Majin Ra. Oh, he's beautiful. Beautiful gold. Beautiful chrome. Beautiful stickers. Beautiful paint. You see Popey Japan. These were all the same as the Popey releases, these GodMars is. Here we see Majin Shin. Beautiful. Lots of die cast in these guys. The chrome. Sparkles. They don't make them like this anymore. Beautiful. Simple articulation, but beautiful. Here comes Majin Titan. Such a colorful figure. Beautifully made. Made with soul, as they say. An absolute brick. You see all that die-cast metal. And of course, imagine Uranus. And look, it's as if simple days of toy making were happening. It looks like that was painted by hand. It doesn't have the laser sharpness of the figures today, but absolutely charming and wonderful. And here comes Imagine Sphinx. A hunk of die cast. Beautiful, beautiful details. A good bit of blue plastic, so be careful. That can be very fragile. But a beautiful, solid piece. Lots of metal in this thing. You see the stickers. A favorite of mine, a favorite of many. And here is Gaia. Amazing. You see the hole in the chest. Little figures of Mars can fit in there. That pops the neck up during the transformation so you can see his head through the window. An absolutely ingenious design in toy making. And here they are lined up. Looking beautiful when separated and looking beautiful when combined. Absolutely a stunning figure. Beautiful. And next, we are on to Gordian. Well, of course, this is the Guardian. This is the Godaikin version. This is the original Russian stacking Matryoshka doll, Gokin. Amazing the way this guy works. Absolutely fantastic. There you see Garbin, the individual pieces. And we're going to take a look at this guy. Here he is combined with all the robots within one another. Let's see how this guy works, because it is absolutely amazing. You see the arms line up when they're all connected properly, so he does have articulation. And there's Dellinger emerging. Amazing. Just look at this. And this is an awesome figure you can get. You notice the knees aren't flopping. This guy I actually got with broken knees, but you can put super glue in the back and it'll stand up just fine, and you can get a Guardian for pretty cheap if you don't care about having broken knees. My one on the mantle that I display, the knees are intact, everything's perfect, but this one is for display, is for fun, for checking out. And look at that detail in the chest. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's open him further. Here we see more detail on the inside. They just don't make toys like this anymore. I wish the Soul of Chogokin would have had those details. To be honest, this is pure magic for me. There's Daigo down there inside of Protessor. Absolutely an amazing set. Absolutely historic. The first one they ever did like this. Of course, Baikenfu came later. But this one's amazing. Look at that little guy, Daigo. So cool. And of course, detail down to the last drop. Such an amazing set. Absolutely thrilled to have this one. One of the first Godaikins I collected. Still one of my favorites. One of the most amazing. Another amazing one is Laserion. So cool. Absolutely amazing. And you know what? This is one you can pick up for not too much money if you want to get into vintage collecting. And it's amazing. We're going to take a look at some of the footage from my 2020 live stream in a minute. If we're going to do a full demonstration here, we're going to start off by taking out the chest piece, and let's have a look at this guy. But this forms the spaceship that's in the anime. And these pieces, and he folds up like an accordion. Check this out. Is that bananas? Look how cool this is. You can put him, like I can imagine if I was a kid, you can put this thing into all these cool wonky poses. It's just so crazy that they made a robot. How creative Katsushi Murakami was to come up with a design like this. Look at this. This is the coolest thing. And I got this complete for, and mint, totally mint, I think for around $200. Maybe you'll pay a little bit more, but as far as vintage robots go, be real careful here. This is really cool. Look at this. Have you guys ever seen a robot that does this? I don't want to put too much stress on the joints, but this is cool. And then there are some other pieces that are like little connectors where you can put these together and form another crazy little robot. So you have this exoskeleton and you have this crazy colorful robot thing that you can get out of Laserion. So this is a highly recommended slept-on figure. And honestly, man, if you can get this, get it. It's cool and it's beautiful. And innovative. Of course, the Godaikins were an innovative series of super robots brought over to the United States between 1982 and 1985. And let's take a look at another incredible innovation in toy making. Look at this, God Sigma with a gem in its chest. Where have you ever seen a toy with a gem? Absolutely amazing. Of course, these were brought over when Popey robots stopped selling in Japan, and they weren't popular in the United States, but they became absolute treasures to collectors because of the die-cast metal, the details. They set the precedent and a high point in toy design for all time. Look at the details. Missiles were left intact to attract an older buying audience. They didn't sell well because there was no show tie-in, but they are beloved by collectors today. And here's one that's beloved, of course, DX Voltus 5, one of the all-time greatest. So glad to have this guy in my collection. Such an amazing, amazing piece. And this is actually not the Godaikin. This is the Popey Nika first edition Voltus 5 from 1977. Let's take a look at the cruiser. Absolutely beautiful. This released before the popular and beloved Vulcan box set. And it's absolutely amazing. Phenomenal. And you know what? Out of respect for Volts, let's take a look at the transformation. See the details. That's right. Here we see them separated. Beautiful. But let's Volt in, everybody. Let's take a look here. And I only combine these one time and put them on display. I happen to capture the magic of volting in. And Voltus 5 has an amazing story, of course. All of my Filipino friends love Voltus 5. It's a political hot point for many of them because kids, and this has been explained to me by my friends in the Philippines, kids got so into super robots, they had shows airing daily, that their grades were dropping. They were failing out of school. And we all have heard about the Marcos regime here in the United States that happened in the 1980s. Well, they pulled the final episode of Voltus 5 before it aired, and it has been a point of freedom for the Filipinos, all my friends over there. So this combination's for you guys. I love this figure. It's absolutely amazing. And I do fumble through this a bit. I was a little nervous, of course. But it's a wonderful, wonderful figure. Look at all that die cast. And some plastic, so this one doesn't scratch up as much as Combattler when you combine it. It's a nice thing. They sort of, the designs are similar, but they perfected what they were doing with Voltus 5, in my opinion, as wonderful as Combattler is. Solid connection. Absolutely beautiful. And of course I'm a Voltron fan. I don't know, I formed the head last, always. even though it's opposite with Voltus 5. And I do kind of fumble through this, forgive me, I was a little nervous. And I'd never done it before, and I never did it again. This is the only time I ever volted in with this guy. And for me, these figures aren't just material goods, they're about memories. They're about more than that, they're about the memories they create. And let me tell you guys what, when I got this figure, COVID was just breaking, it was the summer, I just got back from vacation, and I opened this one up, added it to the collection, and it was like Christmas in August. Things were suddenly better. Absolutely changed my attitude. There we go. Fold the arms down. Pop in his fists. Awesome. Pull the chest piece out. Insert the sword. Now that's not the sword that should come with the set, but that's the one I got, and I'm happy with it. So glad to have this beautiful figure in my collection. And I combined him one time, and here he is on display till this day. And he looks absolutely beautiful, so glad to have him. One thing you guys might have noticed throughout my videos is the blue stuff at some of the bottom of the feet on these guys. It's barely visible on Volts. I use Loctite Fun Tack to hold these on my mantle so they don't fall off and there's no accident. In case anybody's wondering, because I don't want an accident. Look at the beautiful die cast, the stickers, the incredible head sculpt by Katsushi Murakami. Absolutely iconic, one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites. And now on to the one that got me started down the whole rabbit hole. Of course, Daltanias. It was almost Voltron, it's the first to feature a lion. But let me tell you about the rabbit hole I got sent down in my hometown. I heard about a guy who bought a case of brand new Daltaniases, and after I collected all the Voltrons I wanted, I said, you know what, it's somewhere in my city, I've got to find it. Well, let me tell you what, it took 6 years, and in the meantime, I bought many, many good icons. I got into Soul of Chogokin's future models, everything you guys see in my videos, and when I finally scored it, it looked like this. Let's have a look. Absolutely beautiful, and it was kept in the case. It was part of a store closeout, and the guy thought he was actually buying a case of Optimus Primes. He didn't know what was in it. He opened it, and this is what was in there. And I got the very last one in the case. So glad to have it. And let's look at all the beautiful things that come in this set. Absolutely wonderful. Take a look at that. Beautiful weapons, beautiful sword. Amazing. One of my favorite DXs. Absolutely beautiful. Of course, this was almost Voltron. Here we see the separated figures. Valeros, of course, the lion, the first animal to appear in a combining robot. Beautiful. And we all know the story, of course. This was almost Voltron. The producers at World Events Productions, there's Atlas, looking fantastic, wanted to bring mecha anime to the United States, and they were talking to Toy Productions. There's Gunper, and they requested the one with the lion, and of course Toy Productions sent Go Lion instead. And you know what, they fell in love with it. They said that's the one we're going with, and the rest is history. Daltanias was almost Voltron, not quite. Things would not have been the same, I think, if it was Daltanius, because you know what? Voltron is something that's too iconic in the United States, and something we see all the representations. There's the Voltrons. We're getting into my Voltrons now. We're going to start with this Go Lion. And for me, this is a Godaiken Go Lion. For me, they have the highest quality standards of any vintage Lionbot type figure. Much nicer than Matchbox Voltrons even. They do have the longer teeth. They do have the beautiful weapons. And we're going to take a look at all that comes in the case. Here's one I scored. Absolutely beautiful. You see all the weapons that come in the Godaiken release. And here are the lions separated. Absolutely beautiful. You know, for me, this is something I would have dreamt of as a kid. You know, I had Transformers and stuff, but there's just no way my single mom could afford an $80 toy until after the show had aired. So this is something that's wonderful for me to have. And I'll tell you guys what, I bought this, because you got to know how to time these things. I bought this. This has never been combined as part of a collection. Before they announced the airing of Legendary Defender, I saw it announced at the Comic-Con convention I was watching. They said that they were teaming with Netflix to do a Voltron, and I went and bought all the Voltron stuff I could. And I bought a collection. It included this unused Go Lion. It included a brand new Kang Nam, beautiful, brand new Matchbox, brand new Trendmasters Giant Voltron, and all of it was $2,000 for all of that. Now a Go Lion, a new one, would cost probably more than that now. So you have to time these things, and what I'm getting at is there's a new Voltron movie coming, so get your Voltrons now. The prices may spike, the buying opportunities may go away. And next, here we are. Next, here we see the four of them. Next, we're going to take a look at the one that never happened, Gladiator Voltron. A personal favorite of mine. There we see the blue robot on top, and here we see them separated. Absolutely amazing. 6 modes for Albegus, which this show was going to be based on. The black Gladiator would have gone on top for Denjin mode to form the blazing sword. The rare and extremely fragile blue robot. No, it's not for sale. And I'll tell you guys something about the thrill of the hunt. I got this one again before Legendary Defender aired in a midnight, 3 in the morning auction. I got this from a guy who was a Matchbox rep. He kept it for over 30 years, and I got this for $315 in the middle of the night. So glad I did. In fact, the Matchbox rep was nice enough to send it to me in the shipping crate. No, guys, the blue robot is not for sale. Nothing in my collection is for sale. But it's something I love to this day, and I display behind glass. So that's Albegus, Gladiator Voltron. One of my personal favorites, one of the most fragile robots. This one here, I got the blue robot brand new. As soon as I combined it, it broke. I had to use JB Weld to refashion the hips. It looks like new, but it's had some work done to it. What I recommend if you get one of these is unscrew the hip sliders with an eyeglass screwdriver. Otherwise, it will definitely break. But there's Gladiator Voltron, the one that never was. And of course, Vehicle Voltron, based on the show Armored Fleet Dairugger 15 and the Dairugger figure. Absolutely amazing to me now, but let me tell you what, I have had a love-hate relationship with Vehicle Voltron. I'd say going back to 1985. It was a summer day. I'm just chilling, riding on my blue Huffy. Here we see the separated vehicles. And my friend Patrick pedals up like there's something the matter, and he says to me, Cole, they've replaced Voltron. I said, what? They've replaced Voltron? He said, yeah. Now there are all these vehicles and all new characters. It didn't look good. And when I went home the next day, I sat in front of the TV and I watched, and my heart sank. The lions, I loved. The characters, Pidge, Keith, were all gone. Replaced by 15 rather amorphous vehicles and all these characters. I just could not wrap my head around it as a kid. So I wasn't into it. and I was crushed. I was crushed. I was crushed. But as an adult, we see these vehicles are awesome. It is something that I've grown to love very much. Vehicle Voltron is the second collectible robot I bought after a Voltron, and I'll tell you what, this is a good first one to get into. It's absolutely amazing, for starters, and the set is lots and lots of fun. Here we see them combined into land, air, and sea teams. They're absolutely amazing. It's a wonder of toy design. It's a wonder of toy design. And a set like this you can pick up for about 150 bucks if you're getting into vintage. You know, check it out. It is plastic, but it's massive. It's massive. It is plastic, but it's amazingly designed. You see the fist chute. Here we see the different teams. The air team right here. And you can pick up a Daruger. This is a Matchbox Voltron. You can pick up a Voltron for 150 bucks. And if the pieces aren't perfect, they're all readily available and easy to replace. There we see the C team. You can pick them up on eBay. You can pick them up in Facebook groups. So it has beautiful detail. It's gorgeous. It's not an expensive figure to put together. And it's an absolute wonder of toy design between the mech, the teams, and all the separated vehicles. Something amazing maybe you guys didn't know. He's based on the theme of rugby, Die Rugger 15. 15 players on a rugby team. Also, he is 15 inches tall. A lot of thought went into this guy. He's absolutely amazing. You see the sword there is a Korean one I got. It did not come with the Matchbox Voltron, but it's an absolutely amazing figure, and it's something I'm so glad to have in my collection of vintage robots. These are the Chogokin that I love best. And why is that? Is it the beauty? Is it the history? Is it the thrill of the hunt? Well, I'll tell you guys what it is for me. Every time I open one of these vintage figures, it's like I'm back there in my brown corduroy bell-bottoms, opening that Radine that was just as big as I was. The thrill never goes away. The feeling never goes away, and that's something you can't put a price on. That's why I love and collect these vintage figures. These are most special to me. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the Mecha Alliance Summer Super Robot Spectacular. Hopefully you've had a good time. Hopefully you've learned a little something. If you have, please share this with a friend. Please give the video a like, and please subscribe to our channel, because there's much more to come. Thank you for watching.